The vast emptiness of space stretched before the Horizon Dawn as it dropped out of light speed at the edge of the Cygnus 421 system. The ship's engines hummed softly as it adjusted its course toward the third planet from the system's blue-white star. Captain Eliza Morris stood on the bridge, her hands clasped behind her back. At 42, she had the confident posture of someone who had earned her command through years of dedicated service. Her short brown hair framed a face that showed both intelligence and determination. The subtle lines around her eyes spoke of both laughter and difficult decisions made over her 15 years in Earth's Space Exploration Corps. "Scan complete, Captain," said Navigation Officer Ben Harris, his fingers dancing across the holographic display. "The third planet shows signs of advanced civilization. Atmospheric composition is breathable, with slightly higher oxygen levels than Earth." Eliza nodded. "Any communication signals?" Communications Officer Peter Grant, a lanky man with a talent for languages, adjusted his headset. "Yes, Captain. Multiple frequencies. The universal translator is already processing them." His eyes widened slightly. They're sending us a welcome message. They've detected us and are inviting us to approach." A murmur of excitement passed through the bridge crew. First contact missions were rare, even 7 decades after humanity had joined the Galactic Council. Finding a new spacefaring species was an event that would be recorded in history. "Well," Eliza said with a small smile, "let's not keep them waiting." Mr. Harris, set course for standard approach orbit. Mr. Grant, send our standard greeting package. Science Officer Kelly, what can you tell me about our new friends? Alan Kelly, the ship's science officer, was already reviewing the incoming data on his console. His red hair was disheveled as always, and his green eyes shone with excitement. "Fascinating, Captain. Initial readings suggest an insectoid species. Their technology appears to be about 50 years ahead of Earth's pre-Council technology. They've just recently achieved faster-than-light travel, based on the energy signatures we're detecting." Eliza nodded. "Security Chief Wells, standard protocol. We'll take a small landing party. Prepare the shuttle." Diane Wells, a strong-built woman with dark skin and sharp eyes that missed nothing, nodded. "Already on it, Captain." As the Horizon Dawn entered orbit around the planet, which the locals called Nexus 9 in the closest human pronunciation, Eliza couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Humanity had come so far since the days when they thought they were alone in the universe. Now, as representatives of Earth on the Galactic Council, they had the privilege of welcoming new species into the interstellar community. The landing shuttle descended through wisps of purple-tinged clouds. Below them, a city spread out in concentric circles, with tall spires reaching upward and bridges connecting various levels. The architecture had an organic quality to it, like massive hives that had been shaped by both nature and technology. "They've directed us to land at what appears to be a ceremonial platform," Peter said, looking up from his translator pad. "They seem excited to meet us." The shuttle touched down gently on a wide, circular platform decorated with swirling patterns. A delegation of the planet's inhabitants waited nearby, tall beings with iridescent exoskeletons, multiple limbs, and compound eyes that reflected light in rainbow patterns. They stood on 2 hind legs, their 4 upper limbs moving in patterns that seemed almost like a dance. Eliza led her team out of the shuttle. Kelly, Grant, Wells, and Officer Zizek, a blue-skinned Valeri who served as their council liaison. Zizek's presence was standard procedure. The council assigned representatives to human ships to help facilitate interactions with new species. "Greetings," Eliza said, making the universal gesture of peace that had become standard across known space. "I am Captain Eliza Morris of the Earth ship Horizon Dawn. We come in peace as representatives of both Earth and the Galactic Council." The tallest of the insectoid beings stepped forward. Its exoskeleton gleamed with shades of emerald and sapphire. When it spoke, its mandibles clicked softly, and a melodic voice emerged. "Welcome, travelers," the translator rendered in English. "I am First Speaker Zelith of the Valari Collective. We are honored to meet representatives of the Council. Your arrival marks a historic day for our people." The formal greetings proceeded smoothly, The Valari were gracious hosts, leading the human delegation through their city to a grand hall where a feast had been prepared. The foods were strange but analyzed as safe by Kelly's instruments. The atmosphere was jovial, until Zilith asked about their home system. "We are from Earth in the Sol system," Eliza explained, showing a holographic map of their location in the galaxy. The reaction was immediate and unexpected. A ripple of clicking sounds, which the translator identified as alarm, spread through the gathered Valari. First speaker Zilith's compound eyes darted to the other elders and their antennae trembled. "Is something wrong?" Eliza asked, suddenly concerned. There was a long pause before Zilith spoke again. You come from Sector 19 Alpha? Near the Forbidden Zone?" Eliza glanced at Zizek, whose blue skin had paled considerably. The liaison shrugged, equally confused. "I'm not familiar with those designations," Eliza said carefully. "Our star charts don't reference any Forbidden Zone." The Valari elders conferred among themselves, their mandibles clicking rapidly. Finally, Zilith turned back to the humans. "Captain Morris, there is a region of space near your home system that has been quarantined by agreement of all council species for over 5,000 years. No vessels are permitted to enter or leave this zone. We are surprised that your species was granted council membership given your proximity to this danger." Now it was Eliza's turn to be confused. "What danger? We've explored much of the space around our system and encountered nothing warranting quarantine." One of the other elders with bronze-colored plating stepped forward. "The quarantine zone contains the homeworld of the Mawlok," he said, the translator struggling to convey the mix of fear and reverence in his tone. "A species so dangerous that the combined fleets of 27 civilizations were required to contain them." A chill ran down Eliza's spine. In all of Earth's historical records and council briefings, there had never been mention of these Mawlok. "Who are they?" she asked. "What makes them so dangerous?" The Valari elders exchanged looks again, their compound eyes reflecting the room's light in nervous patterns. "They are death incarnate," Zilith said simply. "Before the quarantine, they destroyed dozens of civilizations, entire species reduced to extinction within days of first contact. The Council's oldest records speak of worlds left barren, with populations of billions vanishing overnight." Eliza's mind raced. How could such a threat exist so close to Earth, without humanity ever knowing? Why had the Council never warned them? "We've never encountered or even heard of these Mawlok," she said firmly. "Perhaps they no longer exist or the quarantine has been effective." First speaker Zilith's antennae flattened against his head. "For everyone's sake, Captain, we hope you are right. But the Council maintains the quarantine for good reason. Some threats are too great to risk even the slightest chance of their return." As the conversation shifted to other topics, Eliza couldn't shake the uneasy feeling. She caught Zizek watching her with an unreadable expression. Later, she would demand answers from the liaison. But for now, diplomatic protocol required her full attention. What she didn't know was that this chance conversation would soon lead the Horizon Dawn into the heart of the galaxy's oldest and most terrifying mystery, and that humanity's unique nature would forever change the balance of power among the stars. The meeting with the Valari had ended with formal goodbyes and promises of future cooperation, but Captain Eliza Morris couldn't shake the uneasiness that followed their revelations about the Mawlok. As the Horizon Dawn broke orbit from Nexus 9, she called her senior officers to the ship's conference room. "I want answers," she said, looking directly at Zizek. The blue-skinned Valari liaison shifted uncomfortably under her gaze. Why wasn't Earth informed about a quarantined zone near our system? About a species supposedly dangerous enough to warrant isolation for thousands of years? Zizek's six-fingered hands folded nervously on the table. "The Council believed it was unnecessary to concern your people. The quarantine has held for millennia. The Mawlok homeworld is monitored by automated beacons. No ship has entered or left in 5,000 years. "That's not good enough," Diane Wells said, her security officer's instincts flaring. "Humanity deserves to know about threats to our safety." Before Zizek could respond, the ship lurched violently. Red warning lights flashed across the room as the emergency siren blared. "Captain to bridge," came the urgent voice of Ben Harris. Over the comm. We've got a critical engine failure. The next hour was chaos. The ship's main propulsion system had suffered a catastrophic malfunction. Chief Engineer Sam Foster worked frantically to prevent a complete shutdown as the Horizon Dawn drifted helplessly through space. "I need to set her down somewhere," Foster reported, his face streaked with sweat and engine grease on the view screen. "The core is destabilizing. If we don't land and make repairs, we risk a breach." "Nearest viable landing site?" Eliza asked, gripping the arms of her command chair as another shudder ran through the ship. "There's a moon orbiting the gas giant at the edge of this system," Navigation Officer Harris reported. "Thin atmosphere but sufficient gravity. Surface. Scans show no settlements or life forms. Take us down, Mr. Harris, easy as you can." The landing was rough but controlled. The Horizon Dawn came to rest on a plain of gray-blue dust, surrounded by jagged rocky formations that cast long shadows in the light of the distant sun. Engineer Foster estimated at least 48 hours for repairs. While the crew worked, Peter Grant monitored communications out of habit more than expectation. Nobody else should be in this system. That's why the faint signal he detected 12 hours into their repairs was so surprising. "Captain," he called, adjusting his equipment, "I'm picking up something strange. A distress signal, but the pattern is unlike anything in our database." Eliza came to his station and listened to the repeating pattern of sounds. "Can you locate the source?" Peter pointed to the display. "That's the odd thing. It's coming from deeper in the sector, actually from within the zone the Volari called forbidden." Zyzik, who had been helping with repairs, nearly dropped a tool when he heard this. "We cannot investigate that signal," he said firmly. "The quarantine is absolute." "It's a distress call," Eliza argued. "Someone needs help." "The council protocols are clear," Zyzik insisted, his blue skin darkening with agitation. "No exceptions. The risk is too great." Eliza stood straight, her face set in determination. "I took an oath when I became a captain. No call for help goes unanswered. That's the first rule of space exploration, a rule older than humanity's first steps beyond our atmosphere." The argument continued for hours. In the end, Eliza pulled rank. Once Foster had completed the critical repairs, she ordered a course set for the signal's origin. "If the council has issues with my decision," she told a fuming Zyzik, "they can take it up with me after we've investigated." The Horizon Dawn approached cautiously. The source of the signal was a massive space station, its design unlike anything the humans had seen before. It floated lifeless against the backdrop of stars, its once smooth surface marred by what appeared to be weapon damage. "No signs of active power except for the emergency beacon," Science Officer Kelly reported. "The station's design suggests it could house thousands, but I'm not detecting any life signs and wait." He adjusted his instruments. "There's something faint at the center. One life sign, very weak." Eliza made her decision quickly. "Prepare a boarding party. Kelly, Grant, Wells, you're with me. Zyzik, as council liaison, your presence is requested as well." Their shuttle docked at an airlock that Foster managed to override. The team entered wearing environmental suits, their helmet lights cutting through the darkness of the abandoned station. What they found inside would haunt them forever. The corridors were littered with remains, not just of one species, but dozens. Different body types, different evolutionary paths, all ended in the same violent manner. Some appeared to have been dead for years, preserved in the station's sealed environment. "This was a research station," Kelly said, examining markings on a wall. "From what I can gather, scientists from across the galaxy gathered here to study something. Or someone," Wells added grimly, her hand never far from her weapon. They followed the life sign, reading deeper into the station. The central chamber was vast, a dome large enough to contain a small ship. Equipment lined the walls, medical devices, monitoring stations, and what appeared to be containment fields, all damaged. In the center lay a creature unlike anything the humans had seen before. It was enormous, at least 12 feet long, with a body covered in obsidian black scales that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Multiple limbs stretched from its torso, each ending in what could be either tools for manipulation or weapons. Most striking were the patterns of bioluminescent markings that pulsed weakly across its body, like circuits made of living light. And it was gravely injured. Dark fluid pooled beneath it, and several of its limbs lay at unnatural angles. As they approached, its eyes opened, 6 of them arranged in a pattern around what might have been a head. The eyes glowed with the same bioluminescence as the markings, a deep purple that seemed to look through rather than at them. It made a sound, a series of clicks and rumbles. Peter Grant activated his translator pad, adjusting settings frantically. The pattern matches nothing exactly in our records, but there's a partial match with an ancient language family in the Council archives. His eyes widened. The Mawlok language group. Zizik backed away in terror. We need to leave immediately. That's one of them, a Mawlok. Council standing orders are to terminate any encountered specimen on site. But Alan Kelly was already moving forward, medical kit in hand. It's dying, he said simply. I can help it. Have you lost your mind? Zizik hissed. That thing is the most dangerous predator the galaxy has ever known. Its kind slaughtered billions. Eliza looked from the terrified liaison to the injured creature, then to Kelly, who was already preparing medical equipment. The scientist's face showed no fear, only concentration and determination. Captain, Kelly said, not looking up from his work. I took an oath too, to preserve life wherever possible. I intend to keep it. Eliza made her decision. Wells, secure the perimeter. Grant, see if you can establish some form of communication. I'll help Kelly. She turned to Zizik. You can either help us or stay out of the way. As Zizik watched in horror, the humans approached the creature that generations of galactic civilization had feared above all else, and instead of destroying it, they began to heal it. 3 days passed aboard the abandoned space station. The Horizon Dawn remained docked outside while the crew worked in shifts to stabilize their unexpected patient. Science Officer Alan Kelly hardly left the central chamber, monitoring the creature's vital signs with a dedication that surprised even Captain Morris. How is it doing? Eliza asked, bringing Kelly a fresh cup of coffee. Alan looked up with tired eyes but a satisfied expression. Better. Much better, actually. Its healing rate is remarkable. The wounds that would have killed any other species are already closing. The creature lay on a makeshift bed they had assembled from station materials. Its 6 eyes were closed now, its breathing steady. The bioluminescent patterns across its obsidian scales pulsed with a stronger glow than before. Has it communicated anything else? Eliza asked. Kelly nodded. Peter's been working on improving the translation. We've learned its name, or at least what we can pronounce of it, Vexroth. As if hearing its name, the creature stirred. Its eyes opened slowly, all 6 focusing on the humans with intelligence that was impossible to miss. You help. Vexroth, it said through the translator, the voice coming out as a deep, rumbling sound. Why? Others. Fear. Alan stepped closer, showing no hesitation. We couldn't leave you to die, it's not our way. The creature's head tilted slightly. Not afraid? Should we be? Eliza asked directly. A sound emerged from the creature that the translator couldn't process. It took them a moment to realize it might be laughter. Yes, Vexroth said. All fear Mawlok, all but humans. Over the next few days, as Vexroth grew stronger, communication improved. Peter Grant worked tirelessly on the translator, feeding in more language samples until conversations became smoother. They learned that Vexroth was a scientist, part of a group called the Understanding Caste that had been studying ways for Mawlok to interact peacefully with other species. Our history, painful, Vexroth explained one evening as the human team sat around its resting place. Even Diane Wells had grown comfortable enough to sit near the massive creature. Only Zizik refused to enter the chamber, watching from the doorway with obvious distrust. We not always violent, Vexroth continued. Mawlok evolved as predators, yes, but special kind. We hunt using empathic sense. You can read emotions, Kelly asked, fascinated. Yes. Feel emotions. Amplify emotions. On our world, we hunt by sensing fear in prey. Make fear stronger until prey. Frozen. Cannot move. Easy hunt. Clean death. Eliza began to understand. But when you met other intelligent species... Yes. Bexroth's voice grew softer. They see us. Feel natural fear at our appearance. We sense fear. Amplify without meaning to. Creates feedback. Fear becomes terror. Terror drives our hunting instinct, cannot control. Many deaths. Many misunderstandings. That's why everyone fears the Mawloc, Kelly said. It was a biological reaction neither side could control. Bexroth's limbs moved. In a gesture they had come to recognize as affirmation. After many bad encounters, other species label us monsters. Hunt us, corner us, we fight back, more deaths. More reasons to fear. Until Council decides Mawloc must be contained forever. But you're not affecting us that way, Eliza observed. Why not? Bexroth's eyes studied her with interest. Humans? Different. You feel fear, yes, I sense it, but you override it. Control it. Choose actions despite fear. No other species can do this when facing Mawloc. Alan leaned forward, his scientific curiosity fully engaged. Fascinating. It must be something about our evolutionary path. Humans developed higher reasoning that can overrule our instinctive responses. We feel fear, but we can choose not to be controlled by it. Yes, Bexroth confirmed. Makes humans unique. As days passed, Alan spent countless hours with Bexroth, learning about Mawloc biology, culture, and history. In turn, he shared stories of Earth, human traditions, and their journey to the stars. A genuine friendship began to form between the human scientist and the alien predator. Bexroth was particularly interested in human art and music. When Alan played recordings of classical symphonies, the Mawloc's bioluminescent patterns would pulse in rhythm with the music, creating a light show that left the humans speechless with wonder. Your species feels so deeply, Bexroth observed. Like mine. Maybe why we connect. The creature shared its own knowledge freely. It explained how Mawloc society had split after their quarantine. Most retreated into isolation, bitter at the galaxy that feared them. But a small group, Bexroth's understanding cast, believed coexistence might still be possible. We developed technology to dampen our fear effect, Bexroth explained. Work for generations to find solution. This station was test. Scientists from many worlds agreed to help. Brave ones who believed truth more important than old fears. What happened here? Diane asked the question they had all wondered. Who attacked the station? Bexroth's luminescent patterns dimmed with what seemed like sadness. Council discovered our work, sent ships, called our research dangerous, said we try to escape quarantine. Not true. We only seek understanding. They destroyed a scientific mission. Eliza was shocked. Yes, kill everyone, think they kill me too, I hide. Send distress call on old frequency. Hope for rescue by my kind. Find humans instead. Its 6 eyes blinked in sequence. Better outcome than expected. Unknown to the others, Zizik had been growing increasingly agitated. While the humans slept in shifts, the Valari liaison managed to access the station's old communication system. After several attempts, he established a secure channel to a Galactic Council outpost. Emergency priority message, he whispered to the council official whose face appeared on the screen. This is Officer Zizik aboard human vessel Horizon Dawn. Must report grave violation of quarantine protocols. Humans have made contact with Mawloc specimen. Request immediate intervention. The official's expression turned grave. Details, Officer Zizik. Most disturbing development. Humans appear completely immune to the Mawloc fear effect. They are forming relationship with the creature, sharing knowledge. The human named Kelly spends many hours in deep conversation with it. There was a long pause before the official responded. This information is most troubling. The High Council must be informed immediately. Maintain your position. A response fleet will be dispatched to your location. What will happen to the humans? Zizik asked. The official's face hardened. That will depend on their willingness to surrender the Mawlok. If they resist, they will be considered compromised. Necessary measures will be taken. As the communication ended, Zizik didn't notice Alan Kelly standing in the shadows of the corridor, having heard everything. The scientist quietly retreated, his mind racing with the implications of what he had just learned. In the central chamber, Vexroth was awake, its bioluminescence pulsing with a pattern Alan had never seen before. You heard, the creature said simply. It wasn't a question. Yes, Alan replied. The council is coming, and they don't sound friendly. Vexroth's massive form shifted. Then short time remains. Much to share. Much humans must know before they arrive. Alan sat beside his alien friend, prepared to listen to whatever vital information Vexroth needed to impart before the Galactic Council arrived to separate them, permanently. Alan Kelly rushed through the corridors of the station, his footsteps echoing in the empty halls as he made his way to Captain Morris's temporary quarters. Without ceremony, he burst through the door. Captain, we have a problem, he said, breathing hard. Zizik has contacted the council. They're sending ships. Eliza was on her feet immediately. When? I don't know exactly, but soon. Alan ran a hand through his disheveled hair. And from what I heard, they're not coming to talk. They want Vexroth, and they'll consider us compromised if we don't hand it over. Compromised? Eliza's face darkened. Get the others. Emergency meeting in 10 minutes. Within the hour, the entire team had gathered in the station's command center, which they had partially restored to working order. Zizik stood apart from the humans, his posture defensive. You went behind my back, Eliza said, her voice cold as she faced the Valeri liaison. You undermined my authority on my own mission. I followed council protocol, Zizik replied stiffly. The quarantine is absolute. Contact with a Mawlok must be reported immediately. And what exactly did you tell them about us? Diane Wells asked, her security officer's instincts on high alert. Zizik's eyes darted around the room. The truth. That you're immune to the fear effect, that you're cooperating with the creature, sharing knowledge. It has a name, Alan said sharply. Vexroth. And it's not a mindless killer. It's a scientist, like me. You've been deceived, Zizik said. The Mawlok are masters of manipulation. The stories of their violence are not exaggerated. A soft beeping from the console interrupted him. Peter Grant checked the readings and looked up, his face grim. Multiple ships just dropped out of light speed. Council vessels, heavy cruiser class. They're hailing us. Eliza straightened her uniform. Put them through. The main screen flickered to life, showing the stern face of a tall, gray-skinned alien with ridged features and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. This is Council Executor Dreth, the alien announced without preamble. I address Captain Eliza Morris of Earth Vessel Horizon Dawn. You are in violation of Council Quarantine Protocol 16 Alpha. You will immediately surrender the Mawlok specimen in your possession and prepare for boarding and decontamination procedures. Eliza stepped forward. This is Captain Morris. We rescued a critically injured sentient being who identifies as Vexroth of the Understanding caste. It has shown no aggression and has freely shared valuable scientific information with us. Your assessment is irrelevant. Dreth replied coldly. The quarantine exists for the safety of all galactic species. The creature must be contained. You have 1 standard hour to comply, or we will take necessary action. The screen went dark before Eliza could respond. They're positioning into attack formation, Peter reported, checking the sensors. 5 cruisers, multiple fighter squadrons. We're outnumbered and outgunned. We should comply, Zizik urged. The Council won't hesitate to open fire if necessary. And what happens to Vexroth if we hand it over? Alan demanded. Zizik wouldn't meet his eyes. The standing order for any encountered Mawlok is immediate termination. It's considered too dangerous to contain. A heavy silence fell over the room. Finally, Eliza spoke. "I need to talk to Vexroth. Alone." She found the Mawloc in the central chamber, fully alert and seemingly anticipating her arrival. "You know," Vexroth said simply. "Yes." Eliza stood before the massive creature, looking directly into its 6 glowing eyes. "The council is here. They want us to hand you over. For my execution." There was no emotion in the translated voice, just a statement of fact. "I won't do that," Eliza said firmly. "But I need to know the truth. Are you what they say? A threat to all other life?" Vexroth's luminescent patterns shifted in what she had come to recognize as a thoughtful pattern. "Once, perhaps," it admitted. "Not by choice, by nature. But my caste has worked for generations to control our fear effect, to find ways to coexist. The device implanted here." One limb pointed to a small metallic node almost hidden among its scales. "Prototype dampening technology. Works imperfectly but helps control the effect with most species. But not with humans," Eliza noted. "No need with humans. You feel fear, but choose despite it. First species to see us as more than monsters." Vexroth's massive form shifted. "I will surrender myself." "What?" "No. Must protect humans. You helped when no others would. Council will destroy your ship, kill your crew to prevent what they see as contamination. Cannot allow this." Eliza was about to argue when Alan burst into the room. "Captain, they're powering weapons. They've moved up their deadline." Eliza's mind raced. She had sworn to protect her crew, but she had also sworn to uphold the principles of exploration and peaceful contact. She couldn't sacrifice an innocent being, regardless of its species' history. "I have an idea," she said suddenly. "But it's risky, very risky." Back in the command center, she outlined her plan. They would use the station's old communication array to broadcast throughout the Council fleet. They would show actual footage of their interactions with Vexroth, proof that peaceful contact was possible. "We have recordings of everything," Peter confirmed. "Medical procedures, conversations, even the music sessions." "It won't work," Zizek warned. "The Council's fear of the Mawloc is too deeply ingrained." "Maybe," Eliza acknowledged, "but we have to try." As they prepared the broadcast, the sensors detected new signals. "Captain," Peter called, his voice tense. "Multiple ships just appeared at the edge of the system. They're not Council vessels." The screen showed sleek, dark ships with pulsing lights along their hulls, lights that matched the patterns of Vexroth's bioluminescence. "The understanding caste," Vexroth said from the doorway where Alan was helping it stand. "My distress call reached them after all." "More Mawloc?" Zizek backed away in terror. "We're doomed." Before anyone could respond, Executor Dreth's face appeared on the screen again. "Captain Morris, our sensors detect Mawloc vessels approaching. Your deception is now clear. This was a plot to break the quarantine. You will power down all systems immediately or be fired upon." The Council ships began moving into attack positions, not just aimed at the station, but also at the approaching Mawloc vessels. "They'll start an interstellar war," Diane whispered. Eliza looked from her crew to Vexroth, then to the screen showing the opposing fleets. In moments, the shooting would start. Thousands would die, and humanity would be branded as traitors to the galactic community, unless someone took a stand between them. "Peter, open a channel to all ships," she ordered. "And prepare to undock. We're moving the Horizon Dawn into position." "Into position where?" Sam Foster asked, confused. Eliza's face was set with determination. "Between them. Between the Council fleet and the Mawloc ships." "That's suicide," Zizek protested. "No," Eliza replied calmly. "It's diplomacy, the oldest kind, showing you're willing to put yourself at risk to prevent violence." As her crew rushed to follow orders, Vexroth approached her, its massive form towering over her. "Why risk your lives for mine?" it asked. Eliza looked up at the creature that the galaxy had feared for millennia and saw not a monster but a being of intelligence and depth. Because that's what humans do, she said simply. We stand up for what's right even when we're afraid. Especially when we're afraid. The Horizon Dawn disengaged from the station and moved slowly into the space between the opposing fleets. A tiny vessel compared to the massive warships on either side. On the bridge, Eliza took her captain's chair and opened the channel to all ships. "This is Captain Eliza Morris of Earth," she announced, her voice steady despite the weapons locked. "Onto her ship. If you want war with the Moloch, you'll have to go through humanity first." The bridge of the Horizon Dawn was silent as Captain Eliza Morris's declaration echoed across the communication channels. Her crew stood at their stations, faces tense but determined. Through the view screen, they could see the massive Council warships with weapons locked on their position. "Captain Morris," Executor Dreth's voice was cold with fury. "You are ordering your vessel to stand down immediately. This is your final warning." Eliza remained calm. "We will not move, Executor, and we will not surrender Vexroth or anyone else aboard this ship." As she spoke, Peter Grant worked frantically at his station, broadcasting their recordings of interactions with Vexroth to every ship in the vicinity. Images of the Moloch sharing knowledge, responding to music, and explaining. Its people's history flowed to all vessels. "Look at the evidence," Eliza continued. "The Moloch are not mindless killers. They're intelligent beings who were misunderstood because of their natural abilities. Humans can interact with them without triggering the fear response. We can be the bridge between your peoples." "Your naivety is dangerous," Dreth replied. "The Moloch have deceived you. Prepare to be—" Suddenly, one of the Council ships broke formation, moving away from its attack position. "Executor," came a new voice over the channel. "This is Captain Lyrax of the Swift Justice. I cannot fire on the human vessel. What they're showing us contradicts everything we've been told about the Moloch." Another ship followed, then another. Confusion spread through the Council fleet as more captains began questioning their orders. Dreth's face contorted with rage. "You are all violating direct Council orders. The quarantine must be maintained." But the momentum was shifting. The humans' brave stand and the evidence they presented had created doubt among the Council forces. The idea that the Moloch might not be the monsters of legend was spreading rapidly. Seizing the opportunity, Alan Kelly guided Vexroth to the bridge. The massive alien's appearance on the view screen caused visible shock among the Council officers, but the calm way it stood beside the humans, without any sign of the legendary fear effect, made a powerful statement. "I am Vexroth of the Understanding." "Cast," the Moloch spoke, its translated voice carried to all ships. "For generations, my people have developed technology to control our natural abilities. We never wished to cause harm. The fear effect was not a weapon, but a tragic biological reaction. We have worked in isolation to find solutions to find a way to rejoin the galactic community peacefully." "Lies," Dreth hissed. "The Council has records of your atrocities." "Records from 5,000 years ago," Eliza countered. "Before either of our species understood what was happening. Before the Moloch could develop dampening technology." A new voice joined the conversation, deep and resonant, coming from the lead ship of the Moloch fleet. "This is Elder Kravoth of the Understanding." Cast. "For centuries we have respected your quarantine, using the time to improve ourselves and our technology. We only wish for understanding and the chance to make amends for the past." The standoff continued, a delicate balance that could tip toward peace or destruction at any moment. Eliza could see the indecision among the Council fleet. Centuries of fear were not easily overcome, but doubt had been planted. In a bold move, she ordered Peter to open a private channel to the various Council ship captains, bypassing Executor Dreth. "This is Captain Morris, speaking directly to the commanders of each vessel. I understand your concerns. The fear of the Moloch is deeply ingrained in your cultures, but humanity faced its share of misunderstandings when we joined the galactic community. Remember how many species feared us for our adaptability and unpredictable nature?" She paused, letting the words sink in. "We're offering a solution that requires no risk to your peoples. Humans can serve as intermediaries. We can work with the Moloch to perfect their dampening technology. We can establish controlled contact protocols. No species needs to face a Moloch until the technology is proven effective. The discussion spread through the Council fleet. More ships pulled back from attack positions. Executor Dreth found himself increasingly isolated as his subordinates questioned the wisdom of starting a war based on ancient fears when a peaceful alternative existed. Finally, a new figure appeared on the communication screen. A dignified alien with flowing robes and elaborate markings that indicated high rank. "I'm High Counselor Nemtar," the figure announced. "The Council has convened an emergency session based on the information being transmitted from this location." Dreth bowed his head. "High Counselor, I was attempting to enforce the quarantine as—" "We are aware of your actions, Executor," Nemtar interrupted, "and also aware that you nearly started an interstellar conflict without proper authorization." The High Counselor turned to address Eliza and Vexroth directly. "Captain Morris, your courage in standing between our fleets has forced us to confront assumptions that have gone unchallenged for millennia. And Vexroth of the Understanding Caste, your people's efforts to overcome your biological nature show wisdom we failed to recognize." Nemtar straightened formally. "The Council proposes the following. A 3-year trial period during which humans will serve as intermediaries between the Moloch and other species. A joint research station will be established in neutral space, where the dampening technology can be perfected and tested under controlled conditions." Eliza looked at Vexroth, who inclined its massive head in agreement. "We accept your proposal, High Counselor," she replied, "and thank you for choosing understanding over fear." As the tension dissolved and the fleet stood down, Alan Kelly approached. "Vexroth on the bridge. You know this is just the beginning," he said quietly. "There will be resistance setbacks, those who refuse to accept change." Vexroth's bioluminescent patterns rippled in what Alan had come to recognize as amusement. "Yes," the Moloch agreed. "But for first time in 5,000 years there is hope, because of humans who were not afraid to see truth." 5 years later, Captain Eliza Morris stood in the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council headquarters. The enormous chamber was filled with representatives from dozens of species across the galaxy. At her side stood Vexroth, now the official representative of the Moloch people. The dampening technology had been perfected, allowing controlled and safe interactions between the Moloch and other species. While progress had been slow at first, success stories had gradually accumulated. The human Moloch cooperative had become a model for resolving other long-standing conflicts throughout the galaxy. "Representatives of the Council," Eliza addressed the assembly, "today marks the 5th anniversary of what historians now call the Contact Revolution. The day when centuries of fear began to give way to understanding." She gestured to the diverse delegation standing behind her. Humans and Moloch working side by side with Valari, Centaurians, and a dozen other species that once would have fled at the sight of a Moloch. "The path has not been easy," she continued. "Overcoming fear never is, but the results speak for themselves. The Moloch Understanding Caste has shared medical technology that has cured diseases on 17 worlds. Their unique perception abilities have helped prevent 3 interstellar conflicts through early detection of emotional distress signals." Vexroth stepped forward, its massive form no longer causing panic in the chamber. "We thank Council for chance to rejoin galactic community," it said simply. "And we thank humans who taught Galaxy that what is different need not be feared." As they left the Council chamber later that day, Eliza found Alan Kelly waiting in the corridor. Now the director of the Human Moloch Research Institute, he had become the foremost expert on cross-species communication. "Quite a change from that standoff 5 years ago," he said with a smile. Eliza nodded, watching as representatives from formerly hostile species conversed freely with Moloch delegates. "It's what humanity does best," she replied. "We see possibilities where others see only threats. We build bridges instead of walls." "Even when it's terrifying?" Alan asked with a knowing look. "Especially then," Eliza said firmly. "Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's what you do despite it. That's the lesson we taught the galaxy." And across the stars the story spread, of the humans who shocked the galaxy by befriending its deadliest predator. a testament to humanity's unique gift for seeing beyond appearances and finding common ground with even the most alien of beings.